Hello folks, and welcome to another video, an apple tasting. This is the last one of the 2018-2019 season. We've got 12 varieties here, and it'll be a few months I guess before the next one, but it soon comes around.
Yes, it's surprising. It doesn't seem a year ago that we were doing the last one of the previous season. Right, what we've got here are 12 very late varieties of apple, and you may remember, if you've seen this before, that the late ones tend to be high in sugar. They have quite unusual flavours sometimes, but their main attribute is that they are long-keeping apples, and most of these have been picked since Christmas Day. They're not quite as late picked as some years because the hot summer meant that some varieties ripen more rapidly. Okay, shall we make a start then?
Yeah.
So our first apple is one from Norfolk. This is the Durance apple, found by Brian Durant a few years ago. You can see it's all over red, a sort of brindled appearance, sort of orangey red. These are usually very sweet. The flesh is slightly yellowish.
I don't laugh at this folks, but it might take me a little bit longer than normal because I've got broken dentures.
Oh, I forgot about that. I saw it on Facebook.
And 3 fillings need doing.
Well, that's again very sweet. It tastes a little bit like a pear to me. Do you think so? The skin's gone a little bit tough.
Can we try another little bit, I think?
Yeah.
Just not quite sure. Got to get in the swing of things, folks.
Yes, it's some time since we've done one of these.
Plus I'm hungry.
Now we score these, remember, out of 5. 3 means we don't like it, we don't dislike it, it's just okay. 4 means it's better than average, 5 means it's excellent. Anything less than 3 means it's negative in some way, it's unpleasant. Well, I quite like that. It's got overtones of pear, as I said earlier. Skin's a bit tough. 3.5-ish, 4, do you think? 4?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, now where have I put
It's only the
myself?
skin, really. If you've got one of those devices like Nigel and I have, what actually peels the apple, slices and cores it, it would be perfect.
What are you going to score it?
3.5.
Okay. Okay. Next one is Braeburn. Now this is actually from your tree, Julie.
Right.
There weren't a lot of fruit on the tree, but what there were seemed to be quite good quality. These don't taste like supermarket Braeburns. Shiny skin, quite firm, again very sweet. Still quite tart.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay, I'm going to give that a 4. I find that very aptly, very pleasant. Next one is from Burford in Oxfordshire. Very late apple that we found by the side of the road some years ago, and we grafted some trees.
And I recognise these first 3.
Yeah, now look at the colour of the flesh there. It's actually, as you may be able to see, pale green. Look at that. Quite unusual. incredibly sweet, but it's gone slightly soft. A bit more. I'm not that keen on that one this year. The hot summer, it looks like, has affected the ripening.
I don't like it. I'm only going to give that a 2.
Yeah, it's very sweet. But
see, it don't feel sweet to me. Don't taste
really?
it, no.
It would be interesting to test the sugar level of that. I've got a sugar measuring device. Shall I go and get it?
Okay.
It's in the next room. Won't be a moment.
Got a bit of the apple stuck in my cavity, folks.
Now this is the thing that measures the sugar level. And what we do is we take a little drop of juice, so you get that by scraping the surface, and then you put that on the little glass screen there. So there's a film of juice on there, and then you just hold it to the light and see what it says. About 13. That's about the same. That's called the Brix level, and that's a typical Brix reading for a fairly watery, sweet, juicy apple from a supermarket. I thought it would be higher than that. I thought it might be 16 or 17. Okay, I'll give that a rinse after the tasting. Have you seen one of those before?
No.
Yeah, they're quite useful for gauging the ripeness of a fruit. You can actually monitor the sugar level really easily as a crop develops on a tree. So you say 2 for the for that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3. The next one is a Leicestershire apple called Marriage Maker. Usually these don't last until after Christmas, but this year they ripened much better because of the warm weather, and it seems to have prolonged their life, which is quite surprising. Well, that's very sweet. The texture's going a little bit, it's going slightly soft, but it's very pleasant. Just a little past its best, I think, but good colour.
Yeah, it's quite tasty. I'm going to give that a 4.
Yeah, I am. It's a good 4, that is. It's very nice. So, Leicestershire apple. The next one is a red-fleshed apple from Tasmania. This is the Huonville crab. You can see the colour of it. Can they see that on the, I think they can, yeah. Usually this doesn't keep more, later than Christmas, but this year it's kept really well. Again, it must have ripened fully. But I must say the appearance is better than the taste. It's bitter.
Yeah, I know.
Bitter.
But I'm eating it, folks, because I'm hungry.
Well, that's got to be a 2 or
I'm going to give it a 1.
A 1, yeah. It's edible, but you, as Julie says, you have to be hungry. On the other hand, if you have an apple like this, although it's not much good for eating on its own, it's great sliced up with salads, because for that, if you think about it, you don't want an incredibly sweet apple, you want something a bit more savoury. Right, next one is May Queen. This usually is going rather stale by about January, but this year it's keeping better. we did an apple tasting last Saturday with a grafting group, and they quite liked this one.
You can need another piece for that.
Yeah, I think this is hovering around about a 4 for me. It's got a not a shiny skin, it's a sort of matte skin. It's slightly soft and it's starting to wrinkle a little.
It's got a different taste.
Yeah, it's not that appley. It's got hints of pear, I think. No, possibly not pear. I'm not sure. But it's got a sort of foreign taste in it. But it's not bad.
It certainly doesn't taste like apple.
No, it doesn't. But very sweet and pleasant. I'm giving that a 4.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but I'll give it a 4 as well.
Yeah. Okay.
It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite interesting.
Mm.
Right. The next one is, as you can see, a russeted apple. Quite rough skinned, and this is Allen's Everlasting. This is an Irish apple. It's called Allen's Everlasting because it lasts a long time, though it's not the best storer in the world. It lasts until after Christmas, but not a lot longer than that. And some years it's red, and some years it's a russet, and some years it has a mixture of both colours on the skin. It's very sweet. A little bit soft. What would you assess that one as? About a 3. Yeah, I think I'll give it a 3.5. The next one is one which we've not seen before. I discovered this on a walk between Leah and Broughton Astley, and near to Devitt Way in Broughton Astley was a tree with these apples on, loaded down with them, and I was surprised to find that it was a late storing variety. I thought the apples were not going to be very good, but they were still crunchy. This was about 3 weeks ago. So that would be at the end of January.
Okay.
I don't know how long it stores. So we're calling it at the moment Devitt Pippin. I'll need to monitor it over a few years to see how good it is. A bit more. But it seems to have quite a pleasant taste. The texture's good. It looks quite good. It's not too big. Would be a good children's apple.
The skin's not hard either.
No, the skin just sort of disappears as you eat it. It's not the best apple flavour in the world, but it's got a nice balance of qualities. And it seems quite a healthy tree, and it was absolutely loaded.
3 from me.
Yeah, I'm going to give that, I think it's better than a 3 for me. I'll get 3.5, I reckon. Worthy of monitoring for a few years,
Yeah,
to see if
interesting to see what the results are
yeah.
for the apple tasting next few years.
And this one was off the original tree. Well, I'm going to graft it, and we'll see if the fruit improves on a new rootstock, you know, when it's on an undiseased new set of roots. Now this one is an Italian apple called Mela Abbondanza, and I think Abbondanza means abundance or lots of, so it looks like it's a heavy yielding Italian apple. Mela is Italian for apple. I've only tried this once before and it tasted a bit peculiar. Got a very strong smell to it. But it's rather sweet, very little acid, very firm. I don't really know what it reminds me of. It is apple-y, but it has another fruit sort of superimposed on it as well. It tastes a bit like a lychee. I'll just measure the sugar in that one. See how sweet it is. It's very sweet, 16. Brix level of 16. So it's unusually sweet, a lot of sugar in there.
I think I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's got something that I quite
Yeah,
like.
exactly. Yeah, it's different. I don't know what it is.
Can't really put my finger on what it is, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see if that comes bigger when the tree is a bit older. There were just a few fruit on the tree this year, but the tree was only sort of this high, very tiny little tree, so perhaps the fruit have not got to full size. This one, I'm not sure if we've tasted it before, but I don't think we have. Not as ripe as this anyway. This is Eden Crab from the USA. And it looks like this year with the hot summer it has fully ripened. Other years it hasn't. That has got a real punch to it. It's really sugary and strong. I'm giving that a 4.5. Lovely apple. A little bit like Wixon. Do you remember that tiny American apple?
I'm going to give it a 4. The only issue I'm finding with this particular one is the skin.
Skin, yeah, it's a bit tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I agree, yeah. But that is good. That's a bit of a find. I'm running out
And
of
for a
ink.
crab apple, that's excellent, really.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not meant to eat crab apples, are you?
I wonder if it is a genuine crab or it was they just given it that name. I don't know.
No.
But it's a good size.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice apple. This one we have seen before. This is the apple from Mere in Wiltshire, Mere Village. And it's got an unusually white flesh and it doesn't go brown when you've sliced it.
Yeah.
Usually this is quite a good taste. And you can see it's starting to redden. I can taste bananas in that. It's possibly slightly past its best. But very, very good. Nevertheless, I'm going to give that a 4.5. Does that appeal to you, or is it?
Yeah, I like it as well, 4.5. It's only the skin. The skin's a bit.
Yeah, the skin
tough.
isn't. Yeah, it's a.
But you know, that's not really an issue if you think about it, because as I say, you have one of those devices, and I do it every day now. I just peel them and that, and
yeah,
it's not an issue.
Yeah, so yeah, that's up to its normal standard then. That one, and this one we haven't tried before. This is an apple from a wild tree in Bumblebee Lane near the Foss Way, near High Cross, which is where near Sharnford in Leicestershire. and I grafted the tree some years ago, and this is the first crop it's had. There's something unusual about that flavour. I can taste black currants.
No.
This attracted some attention at our last tasting on Saturday.
That doesn't appeal to me.
Some people found that it tasted a little bit stale, and other people said, no, it's not stale, that is black currants.
Right. No. I'll just give that a 2.5.
2.5. I'm going to give it a 3.5. It is quite unusual. But we should really have eaten this, I think, a little earlier. It is past its best. It's slightly soft, isn't it? What's the skin like on it? Do you think that was all right?
Not great.
Not great. No, it's a little bit fibrous, isn't it?
Yeah.
But quite interesting, and again, another unusual flavour.
Considering we're approaching, we're over halfway through February.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't really expect to be...
Well, we're almost at the end of the apple season, aren't we?
Yeah.
These have not been stored in particularly good conditions. We have a small cellar, but it's natural storage. There's no carbon dioxide or anything like that, and they're all perfectly edible, apart from possibly that one, which is rather bitter. Right, yeah. I'll put the scores on. Let it stand.
So have you got anything else to say, Nigel?
About these?
In general, about your apple season?
Yeah, I could say something about the weather that we've had, particularly how it's affected these.
That's fine.
There are the score. Can you see that?
Yeah, they can see that.
It's odd that when you get a really hot summer, it can affect the longevity of fruit in two ways. If it's really hot, some apples ripen so quickly that they don't store. But others, it gives the apples a chance to ripen fully, and then if they ripen fully as opposed to only being 3/4 ripe, that makes them store for longer. So some of these apples have never reached February before, but this year they have managed it. So quite an unusual year with the hot, dry summer. We actually had a drought for about 12 weeks for the trees that produce these fruit. And I thought at one point that nearly all of the apples were going to drop off.
Yeah, I remember you saying you're very concerned, aren't you?
Yeah, and the sawfly was particularly harmful to the early apples, but the late ones have performed quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get any off my...
The Lord Lambourne?
Lord Lambourne,
yeah, because usually you get 100 apples off that, don't you?
Yeah, and on a good year, 150, but didn't get one.
Yeah, that's a shame. Okay, well, I think that's everything for this apple season, but we hope to be with you again probably late July or early August for the next apple tasting, all being well, fingers crossed.
And we shall be back before then doing other things.
Oh yeah, we'll be back doing other things well before that.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.